Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. First of all, apologies that the title of this video seems a little bit clickbait worthy. That's not really my intention, but what my question is out there that I'm asking really didn't fit in a small enough space. So apologies for that. I'm not doing it to mislead people to accidentally watch this video, but it's the way it worked out. Anyway. I wanted to do a video to ask a question because I've been doing a few video responses, but I haven't actually asked a question out there for the crowd for a while, so I thought, let's do one of those. I also was just really looking for an excuse to showcase my new Darkstalkers poster that I got at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I really like it, and it's actually related to what I'm going to be asking about. So is Captain Kirk, and so is the Star Wars stuff. But let me get to that. I wanted to ask, or really tell a story, I guess, to do with Darkstalkers. I really like that fighting game, and you might see a bit more of it coming up in the future. I saw it for $10 in my local retro store, and for whatever reason, I just didn't really pick it up. I thought, I'll get that another time. And then at Portland this year, I saw it again for $30, and I thought, what? Why is that suddenly $30? Oh, are we in another case of this is actually a rare game and I should have bought it when it was $10 and now I'm regretting it? So yeah, that happened, which is too bad because I really like Darkstalkers, hence the poster. But it then made me think about buying things that you enjoy versus buying things that you buy strictly for the fact that it's going to go up in value. And that's what my question is about. It's about, have you ever bought something that you bought strictly because you thought it would go up in value? Not something that you enjoy. I mean, I would have enjoyed Darkstalkers. And I'm actually wearing my Computer Space t-shirt on purpose because, as some of you know, I actually run the Computer Space fan website. I have a Computer Space. It's right behind you right now. Runs perfectly, and I really like that. And it is quite a valuable piece of gaming history. But I didn't buy it so that it would go up in value. It has, but I didn't buy it for that purpose. I bought it because I wanted to have the very first coin-op video game. So similarly, I started thinking about, things that I bought and then ended up going up in value. And I wonder, because I did have something until recently, I wonder, have any of you guys got something that you bought strictly so that it would go up in value, or like an investment? Did you think, okay, I don't necessarily like this thing, but I'm going to buy it because I know it's going to go up in value someday? Now, the Star Wars stuff. This little speeder bike guy here is my original that I got back in the 80s. Really love this guy, love his speeder bike. And a little spoiler, this has been to Endor. But when I was in my 20s, early 20s, we lived in England, and I saw these in a store, toy shop. What is it? Toy and Hobby. I will zoom in and show you the price tag. You can see here, they were obviously on clearance. It's £1.90 for a Star Wars speeder bike, and it's complete in box, never been opened. There were 3 of them, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to buy all 3 because, I'm going to play with my Star Wars action figures in my 20s and kind of recreate the scene of Luke and Leia being chased by the speeder bikes. But I just thought, why am I buying these anyway? I don't play with my Star Wars figures anymore. I'm in my 20s. But they kind of sat in a box of storage stuff for many years. And when I moved to this place, I found the box and opened them up. And lo and behold, there they were sitting there. And I thought, these are probably worth more than £1.90 now, especially since they've never been opened, complete in box, 3 of them. They've actually gone up in value. Very impressive. But that's not why I bought them. Have you ever bought something knowing it would go up in value? Why is Captain Kirk here, you're wondering? Okay. I, in the 90s, was very much into Star Trek and Star Trek The Next Generation, and I actually knew a guy who worked on Star Trek The Next Generation. He used to live in Vancouver, worked on the show in LA, but I said to him in a show once, hey, you're from Vancouver too. And we struck up a friendship, and he would sometimes, invite me in to help him set up his booth and see behind the scenes stuff of a convention getting set up. I've actually met some of the Star Trek actors due to him. And there was one show I'll never forget. I was in the deal room and we're all getting set up and I'm opening up these boxes of stuff. And these people that I had seen at a previous show, was it in Vancouver? Yes, it was in Vancouver. These people who I had seen multiple times, they're like, hey, you're that Kevin guy. You live here, right? You know, yeah, okay, cool. Hey, how's it going? We'd strike up a chat and all that kind of stuff. And they had a variety of collectibles that were unusual, and again, this is the early 90s. There was a thing that they had, I'm getting ahead of myself. Does anybody remember the show seaQuest DSV? Because that was big at the time. It was the early 90s, and I guess because the success of Next Gen, a lot of people were making shows very similar to Star Trek The Next Generation, and seaQuest DSV was one of those. Now, in the late 70s, a friend of mine and I was very much into Star Wars, he was very much into Star Trek. We would kind of compare and contrast, what do these two different science fiction shows bring? Like, what's the difference between them and which one is better, of course, because we're like 10. But we would actually make little comic book strip characters. We'd sort of combine and create our own unique comic book story of a space traveling civilization that was a little Star Trek and a little Star Wars as a kind of a compromise. Then in the early 90s, I had a need for telling a story that involved a spaceship very much like what we used to draw in the 70s, and I thought, I'm going to write a story version on paper, print it out, and I had all my friends read it, that kind of takes those original ideas we came up with and make it fresh and new and exciting. And when seaQuest DSV came out, I was really surprised, wow, this show has a lot of the same things I was thinking of. I mean, our main character, the captain of the ship, was very much a Roy Scheider type of a guy. Okay, we didn't have the genius kid and we didn't have the dolphin, but we had characters that I could see parallels with. And I thought, well, I'm going to get into this show. And I got to say, I love the first season of seaQuest DSV. It is phenomenal. I really wish the other seasons that followed after that had kind of continued what they had set down. Because something happened, I'm not sure what it was. And there was like a change of writers or something. It became very much more like Star Trek The Next Generation. And it didn't last much longer than that, which is too bad, because it had the potential for a really good show had it remained as original as that first season was. Now, what does this have to do with Star Trek? At this convention that my friend was working, and I was setting up the dealer table and stuff, I don't think Shatner was there, but at the show, this neighboring table had these guys that recognized me, and they said, hey, that's that seaQuest DSV show? It's going places. It's going to be big. It's a phenomenon that it's going to be huge. And they said, since you like it, I'll tell you what, we've got here the model kit for making the seaQuest submarine. And that's definitely going to be worth something someday. So, we'll, since you're a good buddy and stuff like that, and we've known you a few times, you're a friendly guy, we'll cut you a deal. We'll sell you this for like $30, and I can guarantee you it's going to go up in value, and you're going to be so happy that you bought it. And I was like, yeah, totally. seaQuest, it's going places. This guy even agrees. Yeah, give it to me, $30. That's awesome. And then I'm going to squirrel it away, and then when it's worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars, I'll be sitting back thinking, yeah, I made a good choice there. But like I say, then seaQuest kind of changed its theme. The characters, there were a few swap outs. Very much a Deanna Troi joined the crew, and it just became sort of Next Gen, but in the water instead of in space. And I didn't really like it. And nobody else did, because the show, I think, only lasted 3 seasons. And here I was with the seaQuest submarine, original in its packaging, in a box. well, it'll be worth something someday, I guess. So I kept it in a box for many, many years. A couple of decades went by. And when I moved here, I found that box full of old stuff. And there it was. There was the submarine. And I thought, yeah, I wonder what it's worth now. Because I don't really like Sequest DSV anymore. And I don't think anybody even remembers it. So I looked up online. Yeah, it's worth $30. It's pretty much never moved from the price that guy charged me. So, yeah, okay. And I think I gave it to a thrift store. I was just like, yeah, well, there goes that collectible. So that's my thing I bought that I thought would go up in value someday. And that didn't work out very well. Have any of you guys done that? I don't mean things that you bought because you enjoy them. I mean things you bought because for whatever reason you thought, this is going to be worth money someday. I'm hanging on to this. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to keep it. I don't really like the thing itself, but I'm keeping it because in like 5 or 10 years, it's going to be worth a mint. And did that end up happening? Or like myself, did you end up giving it away because it wasn't worth anything? That's my question to the crowd. Before I go, as a little side note, as of the time of this recording, I'm at 364 subscribers. I'm barreling along nicely. And I remember when I first got a shout out from Alan Stewart, Maymeister, he was at around 400. And I remember referring to him then as a big YouTuber, and he laughed. He's like, I'm not a big YouTuber. But back then I was sub 100 people. So yeah, to me, he was a big YouTube channel. I guess I'm kind of now at the point that Alan was when I first spoke with him, so I'm feeling like I need to kind of shoulder that responsibility a bit better than I've been doing. I confess I'm very bad at social media. I don't know the value of liking videos or sharing or any of that kind of stuff. I'm going to start doing that more often, and my apologies to anybody that I have not been doing that to over the years, because I just thought, well, I'm just this little pipsqueak. Nobody cares if I like or share or subscribe, yes, but if I like or share, it's not really of any value to anybody. I think now that I'm kind of getting toward maybe even 500 someday, I should actually start wearing the big boy pants of being a YouTuber of appropriate size. Anyway, that's it. So until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.